Twilight the Terrible, Chapter 6, by Arcade Striker JK5. The first thing they noticed were the clothes. In their own Ponyville, clothes were mostly an option. During winter or special tasks, the ponies would wear appropriate layers or specialized gear for whatever they had to do. But, for the most part, most of them would only have accessories or fashion. Here, every pony was swathed in layers. From muzzle to dock, from pole to hoof, almost everyone was layered up. The few folds that could be seen were little more than irregular spears of ponies wrapped in layers. Smoke from fires lit for warmth, and light stung their eyes and noses, causing more than one of the bearers to wrinkle their noses or sniff. Piggy's head reared back as he opened her mouth almost impossibly wide. Only a little "achoo" came out of her. 3 ponies approached the group. In the middle was Mare, except this mare had a mane of bright pink hair instead of one dyed gray. She wore a red jacket, tightly buttoned across her barrel. Tan pants and axle boots completed the ensemble of someone quite literally buttoned up against the elements. Her expression was grim, mouth turned down. In place of pince-nez glasses, she had a pair of goggles strapped over her eyes. Big Macintosh stood on her left, his harness still around his neck. Compared to most of the other ponies, he was tightly dressed, with only a shirt and pants on. He had no stalk of weakness in his mouth, which was set in a grim line. Applejack swallowed before ducking her head low, letting the shadows of her hood hide her face. On Mare's right was Rarity, or at least this reality's Rarity. Her clothing had a bit of flair to it, of course. A gold stitch here and gemstones for buttons. But the material was dark-colored, and otherwise mostly plain. She had a pair of glasses on, first at the ends of her muzzle. A pair of staggle boots hung across the hips and croup. A tree of diamonds was the only ornament on them. A clipboard, quill, and inkwell floated in front of her as she took notes. Rarity suppressed a shiver, but her nose still wrinkled at her doppelganger. The 3 dropped to one knee in front of Nightmare Moon and Luna.
"We welcome you to Ponyville,"
Mare said, raising her head slightly to look upon the 2 alicorns, motioning to her left and right.
"My name is Mare, and these are my assistants, Big Macintosh and Rarity Bell. We still should apologize for your reception outside."
Nightmare Moon stared down her nozzle at the Earth Pony.
"Your apology is accepted, Mare. These times are difficult for you, with the Tyrant Filly ruling Canterlot."
She raised a foreleg to the sky.
"But do not fear! With my counterpart and her elements of harmony, we shall bring her down and restore Equestria to what it once was!"
Lightning flashed overhead in the inky black sky, causing most of Ponyville residents to look skyward, squinting their eyes against the brightness. Mare slowly raised her head and body, keeping her head lowered to the dirt.
"We thank you, Your Majesty. We are at your service."
Nightmare Moon nodded.
"Excellent, Mare."
She raised the foreleg and swept it across.
"I wish to know the condition of Ponyville, so that once I reclaim the throne, I may better restore this and other environs."
Big Macintosh stepped forward. "Begging your pardon, Your Majesty, but I've got a question for you." Nightmare Moon's eyes narrowed to slits.
"Yes, Big Macintosh."
The stallion trotted forward, right up to Applejack. He held a hoof up almost the size of Applejack's head and pushed her hood down. "Could you please tell me why my sister's with you? If this even is my sister? The last time I saw her, she was back at Sweet Apple Acres, you see." Applejack swallowed and sifted her even gaze.
"Oh, well, you see, it's that."
"Well, horse apples." She looked around, eyes wide.
"Help!"
Rarity Bell blinked.
"Oh, my!"
Her horn glowed and clipboard, quill, and inkwell slid back into her bags. She walked up to Applejack, standing beside Big Mac, and about 2 inches from Applejack's face, looking her over.
"You are Applejack!"
Applejack leaned back, darting her head around to keep away from Rarity Bell.
"Hi! Personal spies!"
she shouted, finally reaching up and pushing her away.
Rarity Bell stepped back. "My apologies, but Big Mac's question and line of inquiry still stands unanswered. Are you Applejack Apple?"
There was a silence for a few moments before Big Mac spoke up. "Yes, she is. She's not my Applejack. The one back at Sweet Apple Acres ain't spoken like that since he visited the oranges in Manhattan." His eyes narrowed. "So, who are you, Missy?" Applejack kicked a bit of the dirt, sending up a small dust cloud. "I'm not sure we got the story, time, Big Mac. And where we're from is one hell of a tall tale. My chuckle escaped her. Shucks, I lived through it, and I'm still not sure how to put it in words. I am Applejack, just not your Applejack, I think. Her eyes shifted back and forth. Well, Luna raised her hoe, clearing her throat and gaining everyone's attention. Ahem! I shall attempt to put this as simply as possible. She began. Good luck with that, Das muttered under her breath. Luna's eyes shifted, but she continued. Last night the moon stated while we were still outside Ponyville. She sought help from across the veil of reality. We are from another plane of existence, basically. She went to Mayor. For the moment, any more explanations will waste time that clearly we cannot afford to be wasted. She held up a foreleg and extended a hoof to the earth pony. We offer our help. You accept it? Nightmare Moon arched an eyebrow at her counterpart, but remained silent for a moment. Mayor focused on the hoof. She let out a sigh and her head drooped. At this point, Tyrant himself could show up, and I'd be mighty tempted to accept any offer of acceptance. She raised the foreleg against Celestia. Thank you. Nightmare Moon cleared her throat and lightly tapped the ground, shaking everyone but Luna. Now then, if the pleasantries are over, I wish to speak with you concerning Ponyville and its status. Her eyes narrowed slightly. And then we shall finally be able to deal with the Tyrant Filly and Canterlot. She stepped forward and looked down her muzzle at Mayor. Now then, direct Princess Luna and myself to City Hall. Luna rolled her eyes, before pasting a smile on her face. Yes, please direct us to City Hall, as my friend here meant to say, she said before leaning her head forward and looking at Nightmare Moon. Right. Nightmare Moon's mane whipped about, but she silently let a sigh. Very well. Please direct us to City Hall. Mayor bowed her head. Big Mac, check on the crop forecast. Ready? Defenses, she said, glancing to the stallion and mare respectively. She looked to Luna and Nightmare Moon. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and prepare myself for the meeting. They then stepped back and swung around before trotting off. Nightmare Moon's nostrils flare. Her left eye slowly locked onto Luna. You and your friends will eventually leave Equestria. I will still be here, though. She cantered around until she faced Luna. Do not! Under my authority here, I must lead these ponies when this world's tried spark is defeated. Luna returned the glare with a calm expression and steady gaze. I know. This is why I said what I did. Politeness will carry you far, Nightmare Moon. You are subjects of deserving respect. Nightmare Moon stared at Luna for a moment. That sounds like something. She shook her head. Never mind. She looked past Luna to the other six. Follow us. Luna cleared her throat, drawing Nightmare Moon's smoldering glare back at her. What now? She growled out, setting Luna's mane whipping about. Luna blinked and stood there for a moment before speaking. She waved a foreleg at Big Mac and Rarity Bell standing there. You and I should be sufficient for the meeting with Mayor. I would suggest that the rest go around Ponyville. They can report back and give you a clearer picture of the situation. They can also help the townsfolk out. Big Mac inclined his head towards Luna's direction. That'd be nice of you, might as well say. Good to Applejack. Care for an agricultural report at Sweet Apple Acres? Applejack gasped. Is it still around? The stallion kicked to the ground, dislodging a clog of dirt and sending it flying. I suppose you could say that. Applejack broke from her friends and cantered around to Big Mac's side. If you'll excuse me, then, she said, tilting her head to them. Just be careful, Luna said. Nightmare Moon fixed the parenting trays on Big Mac. Her safety is your responsibility. Take care of her. Big Mac swallowed and bobbed his head. Oh, you're mercilessly. The pair swung around and began trying off, but a sudden halt stopped in their tracks. Wait! Flashlight cried out, galloping forward. She skidded to a halt, sprang her wings as it was an impromptu air brake. I want to come too. Applejack and Big Mac exchanged a glance. Beg your pardon? Applejack asked. Flashlight let out a breath. I need to see how the animals are doing, and if I can help, she cried out. She panted for a second and looked around. Please, there's got to be something I can do to help them out. Applejack's eyes shifted to Big Mac. Big Mac, do you recognize Fluttershy at all? Big Mac pursed his lips and rubbed his chin with a hoof. He leaned in close to the Pegasus, who shrank back into her hood. Now that you mention it. Nope. Sorry. She doesn't ring any bells. He looked at Applejack. If she's got counterpart here or whatever, she's not around these here parts. Applejack let out a sigh at his pronouncement. Dang, she muttered. Dad flew over to Flutters's side. You gonna be alright going there? She asked, stroking her friend's back.
Indeed, darling. There's no need for you to go if you don't want to.
Fireside's body lighted up.
No, but I have to do this.
She looked up at Des and smiled.
Thank you.
Des's brow wrinkled. For what? A tiny chuckle emerged from Fireside.
Oh, nothing.
She turned back to Twilight, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, Luna, and Nightmare Moon and waved a hoof.
I'll be okay. I'm with friends after all.
The trio trotted off. Applesack and Big Mac shouting Fireside. Rarity Bell glanced at Rarity.
So, it's about time you stopped hiding yourself,
she said, horn glowing and shoving the hood covering Rarity's facial features down and away. Rarity's eyes widened and her jaw dropped.
I beg your pardon,
she exclaimed, her horn glowing and sliding the hood up back of her head.
It seems manners are one thing we don't have in common.
Rarity Bell leaned back slightly, looking at her counterpart out of the corner of her eye.
It has nothing to do with manners. Why are you hiding in the first place?
Rarity chuckled and patted her chest.
It was less hiding and more surprise at being confronted with a double of myself. I wasn't unsure how you react.
There was a pause before Rarity Bell shrugged.
I suppose.
She walked by her double, horn glowing once more, shoving the hood back down.
Then I'm guessing you won't need this anymore,
she said, smirking. Rarity's horn glowed, and the hood cuts for her head.
To hide myself, no. But considering the awful chill here.
Her whole body shook, sending a cloak flapping about. Rarity stared down at her, muzzle at her.
This is nothing compared to winter, darling. I sincerely hope you won't have to experience that.
She glanced at the rest.
Now, if you excuse me, I have work on gemstone defenses to do.
She turned, but stopped to look at Rarity.
Here to help. I don't mean to brag, but it is my best work.
Rarity's eyes brightened.
I should have known such exquisite work would be my healthy work.
She walked over to her counterpart's side.
How did you get so many finely shaped gems?
She asked, batting her eyeglasses. Rarity Bell leaned back, looking at the others before and rolling her eyes behind Rarity's loin, before trying up to the front gate, Rarity following behind. The front gate opened and they exited Ponyville proper. Nightmare Moon's eyes flicked over to Rainbow Dash.
Rainbow Dash, I have an assignment for you.
A grunt from Luna as he ground her teeth together.
Could you please do something for me?
She looked at Luna.
Better?
Luna nodded, pretty smirk barely on her lips.
Much better, Nightmare Moon.
Dash flew over to Nightmare Moon, stopping and hovering a couple of feet in front of her muzzle.
I need you to do a recon of the surrounding area, paying attention to weather patterns, population distribution, and a general feel of the terrain.
Her blue eyes narrowed slightly.
And if you have trouble or anything suspicious, do not engage. Instead, report back on your findings immediately.
Dash leaned back slightly. You seem awfully concerned there with that last part. Sorry, escaped the Alicorn.
If you die, any day it dies with you, that is all.
Dash waited for like her. Yes, so much better. She took out a gas as a tendril from Nightmare Moon's mane reached out and wrapped around her torso and neck, putting the miles bit of pressure on. The mane pulled Rainbow Dash right up to the Alicorn's muzzle. Eyes narrowed to mere slits as he growled.
Remember our conversation in the field. You made me work for it. In the end, it will be your end.
Nightmare Moon's mane suddenly dissolved, freeing Dash. Flew up over the Alicorn to Luna, Twilight, and Pinkie. Thanks, she said to Luna as she sailed over the head. She scanned to stop in the air, and turned to Nightmare Moon even as the Alicorn turned to face the group. I'll do this for the ponies here, but not for you, she said before flying off, a rainbow-colored contrail trailing behind her. Luna locked eyes up to Nightmare Moon and strode forward, stomping into the ground and leaving hoofprints a few inches deep.
I realize how hard it is to rein in your temper. Believe me, I've been there with Rainbow Dash.
She stopped a few inches from Nightmare Moon's face.
But you will not threaten her or anyone else here again!
Nightmare Moon held her ground, staring right back at Luna.
She undermined my authority in front of my future subjects.
That cannot be tolerated. When I retake the throne, if... There was a pause from Nightmare Moon before she continued.
When I retake the throne, I must have respect of those under me. Rainbow Dash was undermining my authority in front of my future subjects.
Luna snored. You won't have the respect, but the fear, and I will not replace one tyrant on the throne with another. The ponies here have suffered enough. Nightmare Moon growled.
And I will end their suffering with a firm hoof and the guidance they'll need to emerge from this time of strife. I will do right by them, but I need them to respect and follow my lead, and I cannot do that when I have that upstart featherbrain mocking me in front of my subjects.
She turned on a hoof, muscle touching in the air.
Now then, I believe Mayor Mel's waiting for us. She strode off. Twilight rolled her eyes. Well, that was almost polite of her. Luna let out a chuckle. It's a start at least. Her expression hardened. But this version of me still has a long way to go, and many lessons to learn before I feel better about her taking power. Luna took a step forward, but quickly stopped. Her ears twitched. Do you hear that? Twilight blinked. Hear what? Nightmare Moon slowed her around, peered at Pinkie Pie over her shoulder. Precisely. That pink one is not droning or chattering like she normally does. She walked up to the eerily still pink party pony and gently nudged her with a hoof, showing no shock as the Pinkie Pie collapsed into a full-sized empty costume. Of course, she deadpanned. Twilight smacked her forehead, while Luna looked the costume over. When does he do this? She wondered out loud. She went to the costume over, quickly levitating a nut cut to the forehead around her. I am going to see the cakes at Tsukiki Corner. I know they're not my cakes, but they're still cakes, and I have to make sure they're all right. I'll meet you there in an hour, and that's a pinky promise. She folded the letter and placed it at the back of her costume. Then, that settles that. She looked at Nightmare Moon. To City Hall? Nightmare Moon eyed Luna, and then she doesn't show up. Twilight spoke up. Pinkie made a pinky promise, and she always keeps her promises, no matter what. She believes that breaking a promise is one of the fastest ways of losing a friendship. Pinkie's voice suddenly echoed from the mostly empty streets. Who is there? Nightmare Moon's right ear twitched. I see. She turned around once more. That is all, then. We shall be off. She shouted, marching off once more. Twilight cleared her throat, catching Nightmare Moon's attention just after the unicorn passed side street. Actually, Your Highness, it does like Ponyville, my home reality. Then you should have taken that side street. It'll lead right to City Hall. Nightmare Moon stumbled in mid-stride, turning and cantering off towards the side street. A mumbled thank you could be heard before she disappeared from view. Twilight rolled her eyes and blew out a breath. She's got a lot to learn. Luna nodded. But she is beginning to learn, and the hardest lessons are to come. She glanced at Twilight out of the corner of her eye. Pinkie Pie would be all right. Twilight paused and glanced to the side. Physically, yes. Mentally, emotionally, I'm not sure. When it comes to the cakes, Pinkie's a lot more vulnerable than normal. Then again, we got no real idea what life is like for them here. She looked at her head, spotting a group of ponies huddling around a fire. Although, with all we've seen, I can't imagine it'll be pleasant. The pair began trotting down the road, taking the left and approaching a somewhat dilapidated building. I believe Nightmare Moon has taken a big step or two in the right direction. Luna heard Twilight say as they trotted up the creaky steps, and passed by a pair of guard ponies bundled against the code. But her lessons will come quickly, and very hastily indeed. She glanced at Twilight out of the corner of her eye. For you see, not all problems can be solved by shouting at them. Fluttershy winced with every step, her eyes starting back and forth. More animals here. Good, she said, more to herself than Big Macintosh or Applejack. Much greater diversity here. The food chain's still linked here. Big Mac raised his hand and looked at Applejack over Fluttershy's back. Is she all right? Applejack's head bobbed back and forth. I think. Well, she's better than before. Back in Whitetail Woods, she nearly had a good old breakdown. She glanced at her brother's Karen part. That forest has seen better days, mine. Yup. There was a pause before he continued. If you think we should apologize or something for what we've done to do it, that'll happen. We needed the wood to keep warm. It hurt like the diggers to cut those trees down, but I'll do it again. Applejack opened her mouth, but any response died in her throat. She hung her head, letting her head slide down. You're right. I'll have been in your heart soon, so I can't say nothing about what you've gone through. Hopefully we can start the healing. The three trotted in silence for a bit, crossing a stream and coming upon the gated entrance of Sweet Apple Liquors. Applejack let out a gasp as he beheld the apple trees, still dotting the landscape. The branches still bare, with very few apples hanging from them. A few ponies here and there were bucking the apple trees, their bucks half-hearted and, in some instances, doing little more than shake the trunks. The main house had seen better days, too. The paint was peeling in more than one spot, and even from this distance, missing shutters could be seen. Plumes of smoke rose from behind several hills, causing them to wrinkle their noses. Big Mac reached over Fluttershy, nudging Applejack as he stood still as a statue, without the gate. Applejack? Applejack? Applejack blinked and shut her mouth. Sorry. I knew it was bad, but seeing it with my own two eyes is something altogether different. They passed through the main gate and passed a pile of large, armed, and armored earth ponies. Applejack stripped into them as he walked. Expect the trouble? Yup. Darn. Bing, Applejack muttered as he trotted to the main house. Wonder how Apple Bloom's fancier than this. She wondered out loud. Big Mac paused at the bottom of the stairs leading up to the ports. Who? He asked, arching an eyebrow. Applejack and Fluttershy both stopped in their tracks, staring at the stallion. Apple Bloom, Applejack said. You know, a baby sister. Fluttershy leaned in close to Applejack as Big Mac stood there, staring at them.
Applejack, remember that little talk we had outside of Ponyville about how much things have changed? I think this might be one of them.
Applejack carrying around Fluttershy to face Big Mac directly. Bling Macintosh, do you have a younger sister beside me? Big Mac slowly shook his head. Nope. His head dipped down. Well, things how they are. Ma Paul didn't feel good with bringing another foal into Equestria. Glanced back up. Where you come from? We got a baby sister? Applejack's ears folded down against her head. She slumped and kicked at the dirt. Her name's Apple Bloom. She's a rambunctious little bundle of energy. Well, after what happened to Ma Paul, she was cut off as the front door opened, and two mares walked out. One and the other standing side by side in the ports. The first one was the Applejack of Equestria, like most everyone else. She was clad in heavily multi-layered clothing that covered almost every inch of her coat. Her mane was done of a somewhat more complicated style than the simple band that kept Applejack's mane out of her eyes. She also wore a necklace with an orange-shaped locket as the centerpiece.
Big Macintosh,
she said, eyeing Applejack and Fluttershy.
may I ask who your friends are?
Applejack's jaws dropped. Well, you see, it's a bit of a long story, Applejack. Her eyes drifted to the other Applejack's companion as she snickered. Horse apples! The second pony's lips curled slightly. She was a unicorn mare. A star-spangled cape tied around her neck,
and a pointy hat perched on my head, covering my horn. I assume you know me from somewhere.
Trixie the Moon, observed! Focusing on Applejack, then looking to Fluttershy, who ducked her head low. Applejack let out a sigh. All right. She tapped her hoof at Fluttershy. This here's Fluttershy. My name is Applejack. We're from another dimension or plane or existence or something. You heard of a ruckus of Carolot? And their nods, she continued. Well, that was Nightmare Moon, and your Twilight Sparkle having a dilly of a pickle fight. Nightmare Moon went a hole into reality. Came over our Equestria and recruited us to help us out. Now, this isn't what you're asked what the real deal is at, right? The other Applejack and Trixie exchanged a glance.
No, I'll believe you.
First, I guess.
You do?
Trixie chuckled.
A tale like that. Almost too strange to be fiction. I've known my Applejack for a few years, and she's a terrible liar.
She looked to her left and right before trying not to Fluttershy and leaning close.
She has far too many tales,
she said, winking. Despite the situation, Fluttershy chuckled.
Oh, yes.
She slowly swallowed looked to her Applejack.
Oh, no offense, Applejack. I'm sorry,
she said, flapping her wings. Applejack waved her off. No taken. Big Mac cleared his throat. Applejack. My Applejack. Mayor Mayor sent me to get the crop forecast. He leaned forward. Hell bad. Applejack let out a sigh. They're not as bad as I feared, but not as good as I thought. She waved him up.
Seriously, could you please show out and everything I guess while Big Macintosh and I talk?
Fluttershy spoke up as Big Mac walked up the stairs.
Oh, but we're the hell to help if we can. Please, there has to be something you need help with.
Applejack nodded. Fluttershy's right. If there's anything we can do to help, we'll do it. A voice from Applejack's left caught her attention.
Well, that's very grateful of you, Macy. I'll guess an apple's an apple, no matter where it came from.
Applejack slowly looked as a stallion with a light gray coat and gray mane appeared from the house's corner. By his side was a mare with a deep purple coat and lighter shaded mane, although gray had begun to creep in. He walked up to Applejack and Fluttershy. We heard the whole thing, so no need to repeat yourself, he said, chuckling. He trailed off. Are you okay? Fluttershy nudged Applejack.
Applejack?
Applejack's breath hissed in her throat. No. Pal? Rainbow Dash stepped along the battered landscape, head alone. Thinks he can bully me or any pony, she muttered. She's got a long way to go before she's ready to rule anything. Was that an Avatar reference? She suddenly stopped, skidded to a halt in midair as a large cloud formation appeared. traveling against the wind and making its way to Ponyville. A few darker shapes could be spotted hovering above it out in the cloud proper. Dash flew back before zooming off back to Ponyville. This is not good! Commander Dash paced back and forth, the ancient armor of Commander Hurricane rolling about on her. She raced back, grabbed the strap of her teeth, and tightened it against her barrel.
Ugh, why do you have to be so fucking big?
She groused. She turned to face her two lieutenants.
Gilda, lightning test. I want this quick and clean,
She said, pacing back and forth in front of the Griffin Pegasus.
We grow in, grab what we can, and haul flank back to Ponyville.
Gilda raised her claw and blew on razor-sharp claws.
You got it, Dassy.
She went to Commander Dash, a predatory glint in her eyes.
Any chance for even a tiny bit of fun, though?
Lightning Dash snoring, also swearing.
Come on, Gilda. We want at least something for the townsfolk to rebuild with.
She looked at Dash, expression becoming serious.
Although we'll be pretty close to Carolot and
To her, she said, kicking at the clouds, sending up wisps. Dash nodded, helmet sliding back and forth.
I know lightning dust. That's why I want it quick.
She looked at Gilda.
Sorry, G. You'll have to control yourself this time.
Gilda groaned, but nodded, and tossed Dash an informal salute.
You got it.
Commander Dash looked back at the ground, and as their force moved to the next target.
Good. We'll get as much as we can and get out before they even know what happened.